We live.
Oh. You're eating popcorn?
I love popcorn. Just waiting for our friends. Waiting for our friends. They're always late. Hey, there he is. There's Adam. Okay.
Are you kidding right now?
One last bite of popcorn. Oh, I love popcorn.
That's crazy.
Why?
Because you would be having a conniption right now if that was me sitting here chomping away at popcorn.
But it's not loud. It's like soft.
And it's good.
It is good, very good popcorn.
Especially that one.
Oh, the Royal Scribe is now here. It's going to be a good one tonight. I'm excited. Also, it was like an explosion out front of our house. That was weird.
Was
So, all right. Let's open her up. There we go. It was all right. Decent pop, bad fizz. And Sophia's home now, guys. Grinding away at work. Jeremy, as always, wouldn't expect less from you. But tonight, I'm excited. You know, we've been talking about the Bible.
Tiffany.
Been talking about the Bible, which is like the best topic. So, we're going to talk tonight about why we can confidently trust the Bible. There's a lot of ideas. A lot of people say some weird, wild stuff about the scriptures, about the Bible. And I've talked to plenty of people who, you know, I just can't get behind Christianity because I can't trust the Bible. And there's a bunch of different thoughts and ideas around it. And we want to address them tonight. Hopefully help you out. Prayerfully.
And guys, I'm just going to tell you that I'm just going to be like a little couch ornament. This is like his nerdy side that he loves. And it's great stuff. Like, it's really, really good. But because he knows it so much, he's just going to like interject constantly. So I'll do my best to participate.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. So let's jump in. Okay, why I can trust the Bible. Honestly, here's a major problem with Christianity. A lot of people actually have no idea about what they believe. In the slightest. They have no idea about what they actually believe. They believe the Bible sometimes because that's just how they were raised.
Yeah.
They were raised in a Bible-believing, church-going family. And they were not raised in this at all. But there are plenty of people who grow up thinking one thing and finding out they don't actually believe that at all. To just believe the Bible because that's how you were raised is pretty lazy. And it runs into some major issues. And those major issues are, they come out mostly when people go to college. My dog is like freaking out right now.
Hold on.
What's up, Martin? How you doing? Like when kids go to college, there's often major issues. They find like one upset, angry psychology, sociology teacher who has an axe to grind against Christianity. And you got this poor Christian kid who's 18 years old and doesn't really know why they believe the Bible other than they grew up in church and they're supposed to love God and they've had some cool experiences with him. And now they don't know what to do because they got some guy with this 20, 30 years of sharpening an argument against them, and they have no idea. They just, it's just what I've always believed. And we do Christianity, we do the next generation, we do ourselves a disservice when we don't actually know the scriptures and why we believe them to be true. So we're going to jump in on this. Carol, how are you? Nathan, I love you. We're going to jump in. This gets good. I would encourage you guys to take notes. Honestly, I took a lot of this from Vadi Bakum, who actually sadly just recently passed away. But yes, so some people, they believe the Bible is because that's how they were raised. Some people believe the Bible just because it worked for them. But there's a lot of things that worked for people, but wasn't actually per se true. It was maybe just a spurious correlation. There's plenty of people who some diet worked for them, but it was really just a calorie deficit, and they'll live and die by that diet. And it really wasn't the diet. It was just associated with being lower on the calories. So why we believe the Bible. Ready? This is a quote directly from Vadi Bakum, great man of God who just passed away. I'm going to drop this in here. Oh, and it won't show up on Facebook. I'm going to drag over to Facebook, and I'm going to post this. That way you guys can also reference it pretty easily and quickly. All right, you got it now. And yeah, Jeremy, raising our kids in church is incredible. That's the ultimate win. That's a huge win. But we got to raise them to know why they believe what they believe, not just what they believe. And you guys did a great job. Presley, that kid is a Bible dude. He is smart with the scriptures. I love that kid. Yeah. But Vadi, he said this. He said, we believe the Bible because it is a reliable collection of historical documents written by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses, reporting supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies, and claimed their writings are divine and not of human origin. This is what we believe about the Bible. Why can I trust the Bible? We believe the Bible is a reliable source of historical documents. Well, prove to me the Bible with science. That is like such a silly question, because you don't try to prove George Washington or Benjamin Franklin or Abraham Lincoln with science.
That's true.
You prove it with history.
Yeah.
The Bible is not a scientific book. It is a history book. So it is a reliable collection of historical documents written by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses, reporting supernatural events that took place in the fulfillment of specific prophecies, and claimed their writings are divine and not of human origin. So the Bible being a reliable collection of historical documents. The Bible, Protestant Bible, is made up of 66 individual books, 39 in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament. It was written in 3 different languages, Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic, and it was written across multiple different continents. There have been over 23,000, this is crazy, over 23,000 archaeological digs that have utilized the Bible to find where things are. And they're still using it to this day to find cities and towns. And it's wild. Oh, this place never existed. And then lo and behold, years later, there's the town that the Bible referenced that they never saw it in history before other than the scriptures. And now it pops up. The Bible includes specific names, places, and people that are all verifiable. There are other documents from these times, especially like Roman culture, that are names, places, people, things, and they're verifiable. It wasn't just a one-off. This is real. Deactivate the chat, please. Okay, sorry guys. And it's crazy. There's over 1,000 years of writing. It's a consistent, continuous story that doesn't negate itself. So the fact that the Bible is a reliable collection of historical documents is hard to argue with. There are over 5,900 documents from the Dead Sea Scrolls with over 99% accuracy of each other. And the issues come down to things like periods or just pieces that are missing that can't be found anymore. It's wild that we will teach our kids about the truth of Homer's Iliad, about some of these historical people,
Right.
and there are 20, 30 documents maybe. And we'll teach that
wild.
to be the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Yet when it comes to the scriptures, we're skeptical of it. Buddy, yes, what are the Dead Sea Scrolls? That's a great prompt, buddy. Thank you. Dead Sea Scrolls are fragments of the Old Testament that were found, honestly, on accident. I think it was some kids. If I'm wrong, correct me. I believe it was some kids. They were like playing, or maybe someone was out exploring. There's a ton of caves along the Dead Sea. And someone threw a rock up in one of the caves, and it didn't sound like rock hitting rock. It sounded like rock hitting pottery. So they climbed in and found all these preserved fragments of parchment papers and papyrus and all these scrolls that end up being mostly all historical scripture of the Old Testament, which is very, very profound. When we talk about the eyewitnesses, this is interesting too, because many of these would have been indisputable because they all maintain the same story. You know, if you get 5 people around who have an experience somewhere, like even just right now, there was some big boom outside of our house, and it was me, my wife, and Julian. And Julian and I are like, it sounded like a gunshot. So like, maybe it sounded like an accident or a tire blew. We don't know what it was. But we all had a different view of the story. But these eyewitnesses, they maintain the same story. Written about in historical and trackable documents that help solidify it. And specifically about Jesus and the New Testament. And look, we could go really deep on any of these topics here. But these were also written about by non-believers. You know, it wasn't just people that believed in Jesus or believed in the God of the Bible. We're writing about this to further solidify. It was also written about by non-believers, which is pretty impressive. Josephus, who was a Jewish historian, in book 18, chapter 3, paragraph 3, he references Jesus. Tacitus, another, all these people, this is wild. Pliny, Thales, the Talmud, all have reference of Jesus and acts of Jesus and who Jesus was and his disciples and his followers after his death. It's just so crazy to me, because when we talk about eyewitnesses, the stories don't negate each other. And on top of them not negating each other, they're not even all believers in Jesus. Like the Talmud is actually directly not supporting Jesus. It's Jewish rabbinic historical text. It's vastly different. Vastly different. And I think it's important to realize, like, the Bible is the most trusted historical document that has been compiled. It has the most, as from this time period, especially the most history and runway for being truth. Oh, Nathan, that is literally
what we're talking
the
about
next piece that we're bringing up. The chances of all the prophecies being fulfilled by one person, that is actually literally the next prompt on our thing. And I'm going to throw it to my wife.
Okay, so then we get into all of the prophecies and the prophetic proof. So what is a prophecy? A prophecy was something that was spoken from God through a person on behalf of things to come or somebody to come. And we see it all throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament. And every single one of those, number one, they all pointed to the coming Messiah, and all of them talk about Jesus. And it is just so, so cool. And it's not like we seem to think that like Abraham and Noah and Moses were just like all boys who knew each other. Like they're in like different time periods, right? And same with some of the prophets, that they're all at like different stages. So they didn't get to like just call each other and be like, "Hey, here's some things that are going to go on. You need to make sure that like you talk about these things." No, these were specific things spoken from God through a man, and they were written down and they've been fulfilled. And this is just so cool. So imagine filling the state of Texas 2 feet deep with silver dollars and then sending somebody in blindfold
It's a big state.
to find one marked coin, right? Like the chances of that person finding that one marked coin is like insane, right? But it mirrors the chances of Jesus fulfillment. Just 8 of the hundreds of prophecies that fill the Bible. So you need to understand, like, out of the chances of some of these that we're going to talk about are just so ridiculously like could never.
You could take like all of your Facebook friends and good luck finding that one coin in what, a year, with all of your friends, all of your Facebook friends,
Honestly,
with no
yeah.
blindfolds. Like, good luck.
I mean,
it's
it
not
just
going to
gets.
happen.
It just
Even
gets
the odds
wild.
of that are so small. Yeah, go ahead and read them.
Okay, so the first one that we see, Micah chapter 5, verse 2, it's talking about the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem. The average population of Bethlehem from the time of Micah to present, when they did this, was in the 50s, divided by the average population of the earth during the same time period, which would have been 7,150 to 2 million people. Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
Or 2.8
Yeah.
times 10 to the 5th. Like this.
We're getting into some crazy maths, guys, and I'm not
just
a
for
mather.
one guy.
Okay.
Just for one.
Just for
No,
one.
this is not massive. This is just for one.
Yeah.
And remember, they compound. This isn't like a standalones.
Right.
They all had to be
built.
done. And this is only 8 out of like 300.
Mm-hmm. Malachi chapter 3, verse 1, it's talking about it says the messenger will prepare the way for the Messiah. So one man in how many the world over has had a forerunner, in this case John the Baptist, to prepare the way. This is estimate 1 in 1,000. So again, like the odds of these things like coming down to
Yeah. I mean, 1 in 1,000 isn't crazy.
but
still stacked on the other one,
yeah,
it's pretty wild.
but that's what you have to remember. These all like build, which makes the chances of them just more
Even crazier.
Yeah. The Messiah will enter Jerusalem as a king riding on a donkey. Zechariah 9:9.
Yep, that's a good one.
One man and how many who entered Jerusalem as a ruler has entered riding on a donkey. Again, it's like 1 in 100.
Yeah, these numbers are so generous.
They are. The Messiah will be betrayed by a friend and suffer wounds in his hands. Zechariah 13:6. It's like the same chances. The next one man and how many the world over has been betrayed by a friend, resulting in wounds in his hands. This is another one that's like 1 in 1,000. Right?
Yeah.
Like they just keep going. The Messiah will be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. Zechariah 11:12. This would have been another one for a 1 in 1,000 people. The betrayal money will be used to purchase a potter's field. Zechariah 11:13. After receiving a bribe for a betrayal of a friend, has returned the money, had it refused, and then experienced it by being used to buy the potter's field. Again, they're all stacking. It's 1 in 1,000, 100,000. The Messiah will remain silent while he is afflicted. Isaiah 53:7. He's oppressed, he's afflicted. Though innocent, will make no defense of himself. 1 in 1,000. And then lastly, just out of the 8 that we have here, the Messiah will die by having his hands and feet pierced. Psalm 22:16. Since the time of David has been crucified. This is 1 in 10,000. So and again, there are so many more prophecies. And again, the results of those, or the odds of those being, could have been
It's
anybody,
so
are just,
small.
they're so small, and they just get more and more particular. So you just have to understand, like, and I encourage you, if these 8 don't push it, go look them up, go research them. I'm telling you, your mind is going to be blown. And then start looking up how they compare. It would be like if you had this amount and had to find this one gold coin,
crazy.
like it's insane. It's insane.
I just asked chat. I threw it into chat, and it was like, what are the odds of all these combined stacking? And it's 1 in 28 octillion. Like, it's not even a number, dude. It's so impossible for only 8. And again, there's like 300 of these that one man fulfilled. It's fine if one guy does 1 or maybe even 2 of these. But 8? 1 in 28 octillion? What? I don't even know what an octillion is.
A lot.
I'm definitely not that good at math. But an octillion is insane. That one guy would do this. Like, how can you trust the Bible? Because minimum hundreds of years, but thousands of years before Jesus Christ, the historical Son of God, came to this earth, these things were written about him. And he did it. And it wasn't just from one guy who like coerced history.
Or read through them all and was like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, that's just weird. That's just weird and not possible.
Well, how are you going to like convince like, hey, do this?
Yeah.
And go do this, but make sure it's only 30 pieces of silver, because that's what Zechariah 9 says.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, there's
too many variables in life.
Yeah.
I can't even go to the grocery store sometimes and have it be what I want it to be, let alone betray my friend for exactly a certain. It's just craziness.
It's wild.
Where people, I just could never trust the Bible. No, I just don't think that you want to believe the Bible to be true. Because if the Bible were to be true, then you have to do something with the truth.
It's true. A lot of people just like to deny it because it makes them feel better.
I really do think, I think that's most people's actual denial, is they haven't taken time to see, like, okay, is the Bible a valid historical document? Because if they find out that it's true, that it's very, like, extremely valid, now you got to deal with the contents of the Bible.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that idea, because the contents of the Bible are not pleasing to our flesh. They are challenging to our own desires and our own will and our own flesh. And that is the scary part of the Bible, is that when I start to open it up and I start to read this and I start to discover what it truly says about life and how I should live it, it is normally in opposition to whatever my level of comfort or personal desire is. So I really do think most people's denial of Scripture is because they're scared of what happens if the inside, what is written on these pages, is true.
Yeah. I think it's really cool, because then it goes on to say why we can believe the Bible to be true. There are multiple.
Oh, these are funny.
Well, these are the arguments.
These are arguments about, like, the Bible's changed over time.
Yeah. Well, it's had so many different, it's like it's been translated so many times and it's no longer reliable. And, too many men have written it, and but you got to understand, it doesn't really matter how many times that the Bible has been translated.
Yep.
Because it would only matter if they were translations of other translations, but they're not.
Well, hold on. Nathan's asking for more details on the eyewitnesses. Are they trustworthy? All that. I have another document. I wrote and taught a Christology course for Remnant Bible College. Let's go, baby. And I wanted to first lead off that course with, like, can we believe the Bible? Because you kind of got to believe the Bible if you're going to believe what it says about Jesus. Bart Ehrman, who is not a Jesus follower at all. He actually is anti-God in the Bible. He said this, Bart Ehrman, not a believer, a scholar, said, Jesus existed, and the vocal persons who deny it do so not because they have considered the evidence with the dispassionate eye of the historian, but because they have some other agenda that this denial serves. He wrote that in his book, Did Jesus Exist? That's an atheist writing it, not a Christian.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
historical eyewitnesses, Josephus in the 1st century, he was a Jewish historian. And he mentioned Jesus explicitly in the Antiquities 8:33. It says, now there's a man about this time, Jesus, a wise man. He drew over to him many who were Jews and many of the Gentiles. And when Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men against us, had condemned him to the cross, the tribe of Christians, so named from him, are not extinct at this day. Also, he refers to James as the brother of Jesus, who was called Christ. That is a Jewish historian, Josephus. Pliny the Younger was a Roman governor in
Names are funny.
AD 112. Yeah, imagine naming your kid Pliny.
Pliny the
Watch.
Younger.
Someone's watching this now, and their kid is named Pliny. Now they're going to leave the church. He wrote about Christians who refused emperor worship and met regularly to sing hymns to Christ as if to a god. And this is AD 112, an eyewitness of the eyewitness. Tacitus, a highly credible Roman historian, he described the expulsion of the Jews from Rome in AD 49 due to disturbances instigated by the Christus, widely accepted as a reference to Christ. He wrote that in Claudius 25:4. Tacitus, I just read Tacitus. I'm going to mess up some of these names. Suetonius, a Roman historian. Oh, that was Suetonius who said that. Tacitus said he explicitly referred to Christ executed under Pontius Pilate and acknowledges rapid growth of the followers of Jesus from Jerusalem to Rome. Thallus, a 1st century historian, mentioned darkness occurring during the crucifixion of Jesus. And then the Talmud, which is a Jewish rabbinical text, they mention Jesus as a sorcerer from Egypt who led Israel astray, who was born out of wedlock and was hanged on Passover Eve.
That book is.
So what the non-Jews say about Jesus, non-followers of Jesus, non-Christian historical evidence, what they say of him, he was Jewish, he lived in the first third of the 1st century. People believed he had been born out of wedlock. His ministry overlapped with John's. Jesus worked wonderful feats. He gathered disciples. He lived in conflict with the Jewish authorities. He was described as a sorcerer who led Israel astray. Some people believed him to be the Messiah. He was crucified under Pontius Pilate. One Talmudic tradition says he was hung, but some early writings use hung for suspension on a pole. Jesus was believed to have been raised from the dead by his followers, who now worshiped him as God, and his brother James was martyred in AD 62 by the high priest Annas. That's a lot. That's a lot of non-Christian authority. Now, there are arguments that the Bible has changed over time, which is pretty silly. There is this idea of multiple translators. It's like multiple translator argument. that the Bible's been translated so many times, it no longer is reliable, that it has been changed. The reality is it doesn't matter how many times the Bible's been translated. It would only matter if they were translations of translations. That is the actual whisper game. That is, if I whispered to her and she whispered to Julie,
Telephone.
that's telephone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how there's actually translations of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's not it. It is from original manuscripts that are then translated. And people, why there's so many different versions? Well, there's no different versions. There's one version. There's different translations. And these translations are all attempting to do different things. So there are thought for thought translations, and then there are word for word translations. Now, like with the Spanish language, we would say chocolate milk in English, but in Spanish, it would be milk of chocolate. Just the sentence structure is different.
Mm-hmm.
So the sentence structures are going to be different in ancient languages. So a word for word translation is pretty difficult to read. There's a translation, it's called Young's literal translation. Honestly, it's pretty challenging to read because of the sentence structure, how it lines up for us.
Mm-hmm.
But the goal in translation is word for word or thought for thought.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where the difference is it doesn't matter how many times the Bible's been translated. It's always been from the original manuscripts,
Which is in Greek, Hebrew, or Aramaic. Nothing outside of that.
Yeah. Okay. So John just posted on here. The Bible's been changed over time. For example, when Martin Luther deleted books he didn't like in 1522. No, they should have never been there. They absolutely should not have been there. They are historical church books, but they're not historical Christian books. And that's why they were left off. There was a Reformation for a reason. It needed to happen. Also, some words don't translate how they originally meant, which convolutes. And I think that's actually why our translations are getting better. Some of the words we didn't know full context to, sure. But over time, we have found what the actual meaning of those words were. And now we have a truer picture of it. Now, those words didn't change the core of the message at all, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the win. That's fine. You can disagree. 100% you can disagree on that. Another argument that some people have is the overzealous monk argument. And this one's interesting. I think this is funny. The idea is that the books were doctored up to present Jesus in a certain divine way. And how this was accomplished was that there were zealous monks that went around and they found the copies of the Bible and they changed them or destroyed the ones that didn't line up with what they wanted. That's actually what happened in Islam, but that's actually how we got the Quran, not the scriptures, but not the genuine, true, real holy scriptures. But it's pretty interesting because there's so many holes in this argument. Number one, we have over 6,000 New Testament manuscripts written only 2.5 decades after the writings of the originals. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, how did they know where they all were? How were they able to find them? Like, there wasn't like a telephone back there to call around.
Right.
It would have been an impossible feat to do this. It just wouldn't have happened at all whatsoever. Language, there's holes in even like the language. The first translations were in Syriac, Coptic, Greek, and Latin. The overzealous monks would have had to find 6,000 original manuscripts in Greek, steal the manuscripts without getting caught, make up lies in Syriac, Coptic, Greek, and Latin based on the original Greek manuscripts, change all the manuscripts without being caught in the changes, and have to make the lies in all the languages match the lies in the Greek. It's just a silly argument. Also, the writings of the early church fathers are so legit, because they were obsessed with writing scripture. 95 to 98% of the New Testament can be recreated. This is so cool, through the writings of the early church fathers, their notes, their letters, and their books. Through their writings, all of the New Testament except 11 verses can be reproduced.
It's pretty crazy.
You know how cool that is?
Yeah.
Where, like, even if all the manuscripts would have been destroyed, the church fathers were so obsessed with the scripture,
Mhm.
they wrote all but 11 verses, and we have copies of that. And it wraps back around to the manuscripts as well and to scriptures. I just think that is so cool that all that got preserved through that. And then we get back to, like, the Bible can't be proven scientifically. Well, duh. Because you don't prove history with science.
Mhm.
Science is observe, measure, repeat. But we can't prove George Washington was our first president through observe, measure, repeat.
Right.
That's not how this works. History is proven by the evidentiary method. It's like a court system. You need reliable witnesses whose story match up, documents and proof of what was said, when it was said, and what was done. And that's what we have over a 1,600-year time period with 40 writers, 3 continents, 3 languages, and 66 books. The Bible is the most incredible historical document that God gave to us.
It's true.
Do you know if there's a translation into Klingon? I don't know. I have no idea. I do know there's like a Hawaiian version or a translation that's pretty cool. The Hawaiian translation's awesome. But, you know, like, without going too crazy deep on any of these one topics, for me, like, the Bible is very easy to believe off of these points.
Yeah.
It is one of the most historically supported documents. And we're still finding more. And we're still finding more support of this. And when you realize and come to the conclusion that you can trust the Bible, well, now it's an invitation to figure out what's inside the Bible. And that's the book that will change your entire life. That's the book that will change everything. And again, you can go so deep on all this. What you'll see when other religions, or even like an atheist or an agnostic, when they attack Christianity, they'll attack your belief in the Bible, they'll attack bibliology, and they'll attack Jesus' deity, or they'll attack the Trinity. So this is one of the main things that, as a believer in Jesus, if you're serious about the mission of the kingdom of God to see people come to know him, you should equip yourself with a decent level of bibliology, because this is an area that people attack. Everyone watching here, if you've ever shared the gospel with people, this is a very common objection that you get is, oh, I can't trust the Bible. It's been changed. Has it? Well, I can't trust the Bible. And there's a million reasons why they'll throw it out, but you really start digging into it, and it's, in my opinion, the most trustable historical ancient document that has ever been given to us.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And that being true, you should then figure out what's on the inside, because that is what will change your life.
Yes.
That is what will change everything. That's what we got. Basic bibliology tonight. an overview of bibliology. What do you want to throw in there, babe?
Amen. Guys, no, this is really good stuff. And, everyone should have like a good understanding of it. But this is also like, I don't know. I get it. I believe it. I can see the proof, and that's what it is. I don't know. I don't think it's that hard, but some people do.
Yeah, it's just so simple too. It's like, okay, if you think it's changed, what do you do about all the originals that are still there? And if it was
Yeah.
changed so much, then why are people not like genuine, true people that can
Mhm.
really read Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic? Why are they not freaking out about all these changes?
Right.
The Bible does not change. Now, to John's point earlier, we do discover more truth about the Bible, but that's what the Bible's always been. And we might have a better King James Version is the only reliable translation. It's such a crazy take. Wes Huff has a ton
He's got a lot
of
of great
good stuff on bibliology. I forget what the word was, but there was a word they didn't know how to translate, and they threw a word in there, and that has been changed. Does that mean the Bible changed? No, that means now we know what it actually was truly, fully saying.
Mm-hmm.
But does that one word negate the truth of all of this?
No.
No. Also, King James only is just, it's wild to me. There's only like 4,000 different words in the King James Version Bible to put to 3 different ancient languages. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And there's people that love the King James Version. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but there are people who will go toe to toe fighting with you about the King James Version is the only version of the Bible that should ever be read and the only truth.
I could totally see Presley liking the King James Version. That doesn't shock me. That's funny.
Yeah, there's a bunch that's wonky about King James, but that's the greatness about there still being more time and us discovering even more truth about all this. No, there's not a Diet Coke. You missed it last night, Zach. I'm being reformed. It's actually very good. A ginger lime Spindrift. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. All right. We just want to challenge you guys. Other good resources on bibliology. I would point you straight to YouTube and Wes Huff.
Yeah.
Right there. Wes Huff is an absolute genius.
He actually hurts my brain.
Well, it's funny because you guys will also find this. People will speak with a lot of confidence, but confidence doesn't mean truth. I want to encourage you, like, just because someone is speaking with confidence and conviction about what they're saying, it doesn't validate that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this guy named Billy Carson who's been spreading so many stupid, unreliable, unverifiable, and they went like mega viral. He's literally made millions of dollars off just stupid lies.
Mm-hmm.
And with confidence. And Wes Huff, man, found himself on a live stream with him one night and absolutely
cooked,
decimated all of his stupid arguments.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. He was like mispronouncing the Codex Sinaiticus and we couldn't even mention the name right, and then was saying something else. And Wes Huff was like, "Oh, you mean I have a copy of it right here," and pulled it out, which was crazy.
Mhm.
Just bodied him. So I do want to encourage you. You know, Billy Carson spoke with great confidence his lies,
Yeah.
but when lies run into the truth, and you need to know the truth, it will set you free. Brandon, if you look up in the comments, people wrote Wes Huff's name a bunch. Wes Huff. And he's a gym guy, Brandon. So you'll like that. I think he benches 3 plates. I think he's short though, so he's kind of cheating because he doesn't have to push as far.
Vadi has more stuff too, doesn't he?
Yeah, Vadi Bakum has awesome stuff. Wes Huff though is probably the easiest and like very, 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 very clear, very pointed, and
And he
like
just
10 to
knows
12-minute
like
videos.
historical stuff on all the surrounding stuff too, which is just insane. Like it's just silly because I'm glad there's people like him out there who find the information, because that is not stuff that I have interest in or would even think about, you know? And that's why we need people like that. It's amazing.
There you go. I benched 3 plates, not kitchen plates. I don't even know if I could bench 3 plates right now. Maybe. I should find out on Friday, Saturday. All right. Any other thoughts or questions? We're here. If not, I'm going to bed early tonight.
I'm sleepy. This was my good night to sink in the couch and just be a bobblehead.
All right, we'll give it a second.
I know you guys don't have other topics. No one said anything.
You know what I'm excited about? My class on Thursday night.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Debated Bible topics.
Debated
7
Bible.
o'clock
Yes.
at church.
The class
Locking in.
itself, I believe, is called Unashamed. And you want to be there.
It's a little ghetto because we got to be out in the foyer.
But listen, guys, it's
'Cause
for
we're out of space.
We're out of space. We're doing really awesome.
With
The Lord
holy
has
problems.
just, yes.
You know
It's
what's
going to be
really
so
cool?
good.
This Sunday morning, butts in seats, there were 1,000 people between Horseheads and Ithaca campus.
Yeah. It's really awesome. The Lord is just
Teresa, we're not going to do
doing
it
great
live,
things.
but I'll send you a link once it's up, which won't be too long. Okay.
Brandon, you're going to have to come. Oh, you'll be at work. He can send you the link.
All right. I love you guys.
Love you guys. See you next week.